Good morning, boys and girls. I hope all of my explorers are saying good morning, Mrs. Graves. It's so nice to see you today. Now, today is the day you've been waiting for. What is this little packet in your art supply bag? It's Crayola model magic. Clay. It's air dry clay. We finally get to make something with air dry clay. A 3-dimensional project. You are going to love this. Now, we are going to start. Don't open it yet. Okay, don't open it until I open it in a few minutes because it will start drying right away. So just hang on to it. I know you're excited. I am too. We need to talk for just a couple minutes though. Let me introduce you to this project. I'm going to turn just a little bit so you can see what I'm looking at. Now, this is project number 14. I know, 14. We have been creating a lot. And I love seeing all your artwork on Art Sonia. You guys are awesome. Now, I wrote the word ceramic here because it at RGS, and you guys will do this when you come back, we make ceramics sometimes. We make pinch pots, ornaments, sometimes we make other things, and I put them in the kiln. We bake them with earthenware, it's that gray clay. Then I fire your project in the kiln. Then I take it out. Has to cool because it's very hot. And then we glaze it. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. It's kind of like painting on your clay pot, but it's called glaze. And then I fire it again. It turns to glass. It's so beautiful. Here, I can show you right here. This little pot, see how shiny it is? It looks like glass. And this was a speckled glaze. So it's yellow with some white and blue crystals in it. And when it fires, they burst open and they're full of color. So this is a little pot. Listen. Yeah, ceramics. And today we're going to be making a pinch pot. So we are going to make the same type of vessel. We call it a vessel. But you're going to be using air dry clay. So this one, for example, I would be able to put water in, but yours, because it's not glazed, you will not be able to put water in it. But you could put any little thing you want, like earrings, push pins, maybe you have little toys that you want to keep track of that you could put in there. Yeah. So we are making pinch pots. It is the oldest form of creating a pot. Very primitive, and we'll talk about primitive in a minute. Now stamping, that's where you add texture to your pot. And I'll show you that too. We're going to add some texture to our pot. Now they call stamping because if you have a stamp, you can use it. But we are going to use a stick, you can use a pencil, you can use a pen, anything that creates texture, okay? And now, let's go to our vocab words. Clay, I hope you're repeating after me. Air dry clay, you see that, which is what we're using today. Kiln fire clay or earthenware, that's the gray clay that we use here at RGS. Pinch, that's the technique we're using. We're going to pinch all around the edge. Pinch, pinch, pinch. And that's how we make a little pot. And I'll show you that. Texture, that would be the stamping. That it said stamping on my side. That's where you can use a pencil, a pen, a popsicle stick, a fork, anything you want to create texture. Then after your air dry pinch pot dries, you can color it. You guys will be able to use markers or paint. Here at school, when we make pinch pots out of the gray clay, the earthenware, we glaze it because then I can put it back into the kiln and it turns into glass. Yeah. So hopefully we get to do a whole bunch of ceramics next year. And the last vocab word is primitive. Now primitive means it's from a long time ago and it was made pretty much to be useful. Okay, so if I was born a long time ago and I couldn't go to Walmart and buy a bowl to eat my cereal in, I could take clay from the ground, and it's usually found by water. So streams or rivers, you could dig next to them and find clay. Some of you might have experienced this before when you're out camping or hiking. Now, I would take some of that clay and I would pinch, and I would make this little pot. And then I could fire it in the ground at very high temperatures. So you'd have to build a fire, put your pot in the hole and cover it up. And then your pot would come out hard. Okay? You are taking all the water out of the clay. Then you can drink out of it. You could eat your cereal out of it. Okay? So that's what all the native people made as their food vessels. That's what they ate out of. Now, an awesome book. Remember, I love books and literature. Claymates. It's about these two little balls of clay that turn themselves into all of these fun creatures. Now, I did read this last year, but if you weren't here or you don't remember it, please look it up. You can even just listen to it on YouTube. But we have the gray clay and terracotta or red clay. All right, so look up Claymates. You are going to love it. And then I'm going to shift over here. I wanted to show you a picture. This is a clay sculpture. I want you to just look at it for a minute and look at all the detail. You can see texture. You can see patterns. Now this was created by the Mixtec tribe, and they lived a long time ago in Mexico. And they made this sculpture to help bring the rain, to the peoples of their village. Now, you guys will not be making a sculpture, but you will be making a pinch pot, and that's also a very utilitarian object, okay? But to the Mixtec people, creating little sculptures like this to help bring the rain or make the crops grow, that was very important to them. That meant a lot to them. And by making them beautiful, they thought they would get more rain or the crops would grow better. So this sculpture meant a lot to the Mixtec people. Just like when we make artwork and we're like, oh my goodness, I did such a beautiful job on this, and it gets hung up on the fridge, you feel proud, and it means a lot to you. So make sure you hang that artwork, any artwork that you make around your house, and be proud of it. I hope that you really enjoy our air dry pinch pot today. I'll be back in just a few minutes, all right? And then we'll finally be able to open this package. All right, bye boys and girls. I'll be back soon. Hi boys and girls. I hope that you're ready because the time is now. We get to open our package of Model Magic, okay?
it's the perfect size for our little pinch pot we are making. Okay, so it comes in just a clump like this. You'll see it's nice and soft and squishy. The thing with Model Magic is you just want to be careful, and you can't play with it too much or it does dry out. So I'm going to show you. This is great fine motor. So good for your fingers. You want to be careful again. You don't want to play with it too much, but squeeze it hard and make it into a ball. Then what I want you to do is stick your finger right in the middle. Okay, so you're going to wrap your fingers around like a cup. Okay, like if you were getting a drink with your hand, make a cup with your hand, put the ball in your hand, take your other hand, stick your thumb down until you can't see your fingernail. Then your thumb stays on the inside and your fingers, I use these 3 fingers, not really my pinky, and I squeeze and turn. Squeeze and turn. Now, it's very important that you don't take your thumb out of the middle of your clay, and it's also important that you don't put your fingers inside. Keep your fingers out. If you hold it just like this and do little squeezes all the way around, slowly, slowly, look at, you can already see that I'm forming a pinch pot. Oh, look at how cute this is. My cute little pinch pot. Now it doesn't take long to start forming. And I want you to close your eyes when you're making this. And as you're pinching, I want you to try to feel how thick the wall of your pinch pot is, or the side. So it's kind of like seeing with your fingers. I know that sounds silly, but that's actually what we practice when we make pinch pots. It's like we're seeing with our fingers. We're seeing how thick the wall of that pinch pot is. All right, now I can move up a little bit. You don't want to pinch the top. You want to keep it thicker like this. Don't squeeze the top, because then it'll just start flopping back and forth and your little pinch pot won't stand up. Now when you make it, you can see it's kind of a roly-poly little pot. So if you want to gently press it down and flatten the bottom, once the bottom is flat, then you know that it will sit. Then it will sit perfectly right there. And then I want you to find some fun little tools. Okay? One more thing. Don't re-squish this too many times and back into the ball, because as soon as you open it from the package, it starts drying. Okay? So these are just a couple things that you probably have around your house. You could also use a toothpick, a popsicle stick, any sort of stamp, even a toy like a Lego makes awesome texture. Oh, look it, I like to use the top of my pen. Look it makes those fun little circles. Maybe I want to find a marker or something to make bigger circles. Oh, that looks cool. That's just the end of my Sharpie. See if you could make a pattern. So you would make the same shape or design all the way around. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do one more row. Ah, cool! So now I have a little pattern on the bottom with the end of my Sharpie, and I have a little pattern on top. So I just added texture and pattern. Now, if you want to use a paper clip, okay, you could do something fun on the edge. Oh, that's kind of a neat texture. There are so many different little items that you can find to make texture. These are just a few that you probably have just laying around your house right now. Okay? So, you are going to add the texture, and then you need to let it dry for 24 hours. So let your little pot dry for 24 hours. Then you can use markers or paint, and you can add some color. All right, boys and girls, I hope you loved creating the primitive pinch pot with me and adding the texture. It's so cute, and you really can use it, boys and girls, when it dries. I think I might put my little push pins in mine. So any little toy, earrings. Look at, isn't that cute? You can totally use it. Now, I'm going to dump those out. I'm going to let my pinch pot dry for a few minutes, or for a few hours, I should say. 24 hours, remember. All right, boys and girls. I'm back, and my little pinch pot is definitely drier. Now remember, now I cannot mold it or squish it or push anything else into it anymore. Okay? But I can color on it. So I'm going to use markers because most of you probably have markers. And I'm going to color, all my little dots. Maybe I want to make them blue. Ooh, that looks nice. I like cool colors. So I might use purple too. Maybe on all of my little Sharpie circles, I'm just going to trace them with purple. Now I can color them in too, if I want to. So I'm going to keep coloring all of these little circles in because that was my pattern. That was my pattern. Then I'm going to use green. I'm going to use green on the paperclip lines. I had to remember what I used there for a minute. I used so many fun tools. Ooh, all right. Well, I'm going to finish decorating my pinch pot. Now, be careful. Again, you don't want to break it, okay? So, you finish yours, and I'm going to finish mine, and I can't wait to see yours on Art Sonia. Thanks, boys and girls. I'll see you next time.